You're listening to the Never Heard of It podcast,
a Night Shift Radio original. Every week we bring you the good,
the bad,
the weird,
and lesser known streaming movies.
Hit subscribe for new episodes every Thursday and Sunday. So a long time ago, and by a long time ago, I mean every single episode since we have started this podcast, we ask people to subscribe, to rate and review us on Apple Podcasts or any other podcast place, right?
True. Yeah, we have. And we've sometimes tied it to clever calls to action. But you know, we just want to know what the people think. It really is all we want.
And so one of the episodes, which wasn't that far back, it was back in March, we specifically said, leave us a 5-star review or any amount of stars.
Sure.
But then, if you're unsure what to say, just give us a recipe. Give us your favorite recipe for something.
Yeah.
And we were delivered.
Yes.
So T West 72, they went and gave us a 5-star review, and they gave us Jane's pesto recipe.
Hell yes.
Which I thought was really interesting, which is great. So keep it up. We want more recipes or funny jokes. Tell us an embarrassing story from school. Love it. So we got Jane's pesto recipe. So if you want to learn about Jane's pesto recipe, you can head over to Apple Podcasts, leave a 5-star rating review or any star rating. Mm-hmm, we're fine. Mm-hmm. We just want the numbers. Just give us your thoughts on how it is. And this time we're going to call out, leave an embarrassing story from when you were in primary school.
Oh.
Give us a K through 12 story of something that was really embarrassing. And the best part about this is that these reviews are anonymous. You could put any username you want in them. So you could be completely anonymous in this thing, so you're not embarrassed nationally on Apple Podcasts.
Excellent.
And tell us this story of your most embarrassing moment.
Why should you be embarrassed on Apple Podcasts when we do it weekly?
Right. Exactly.
But also, recipes are still welcome. I have been wanting to make my own pesto for a while. I love pesto. I'll get, particularly with fresh pasta, I'll get some pesto and I'll make up just a nice, fresh, light pasta dish. And I want to make my own. And I'm really excited to try out Jane's pesto recipe.
It looks really simple and really good.
Yes.
It looks like a very simple recipe, so I'm excited as well.
I feel like that's one of those things that if I ever do find myself on a cooking competition show, which I hope not because I'm not that good and I would embarrass myself, I feel like I should know how to make a pesto just in case.
Just in case. It feels like it's one of those quick, out-of-pocket.
It's going to come up. It's going to come up.
Up your sleeve tricks. Yeah. So speaking of recipes, this is a really great segue. So there's a brand new series coming out, or is now out. The first 3 episodes are out on Apple TV Plus, called The Crowded Room.
Oh.
And in theory, here's the tie-in. It seems like a recipe for success. Hey, I did the thing.
Wow.
Look how easy that was.
You did.
So it's starring Tom Holland in a role that's, kind of a different role that he has played. And we've got Amanda Seyfried, who is great in it.
Look at Tom with his goofy long hair.
With his goofy long hair, I know. And then also kind of a breakout star for this series, and I'm forgetting her last name, but I think her name is Sasha Lane, who plays a really great role of a character named Ari. I'm going to talk about this briefly. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about the first 3 episodes in a non-spoiler way. However, I'm going to make a prediction that may or may not be true, and there's nothing aside from what we know so far that makes me think that this is what's happening.
Fascinating.
So this story is one of a true crime documentary. So, or, in a way, it's like a true crime type of story, a crime story, where Tom Holland and Ari are kind of in public. They go off, they shoot at some guy, shoots him in the arm. He runs off. We don't know who the guy is. He runs off, Ari runs off, Tom Holland gets busted. And now he's brought in, and when they bring him in to interview him, and this is Amanda Seyfried as the criminal psychologist type person.
Sure.
She's interviewing him. They found that he is connected to a whole bunch of other murders.
Oh.
He may be connected to a whole bunch of other murders. This is all allegedly. And so she's trying to figure out why he's surrounded by all of, has these 1 to 2, levels of connection to all of these dead or missing people. Mm-hmm. And he's kind of like, I don't know what you're talking about. I knew this person. Yeah. But I don't know what you mean. And so there's this girl Ari that he's connected to. There's another guy, I forgot his name. It's like a Russian name, and he's tied to him. And the Russian guy's missing. Ari's missing. There's these other people that are dead and missing. Dead or missing, and they all tie back to Tom Holland. And, she's like, I just don't understand. But the thing is we see instances of these, the series is told via flashback. So he's being interviewed and then he's flashing back and telling you how he met all these people and the instances around them, like how it basically led up to the moment where he shoots this guy in public, who is fine. The guy lived. So it's telling all of that story. So my theory is that there's something in the way of either schizophrenia, hence the title Crowded Room, or dissociative identity disorder, hence the title, which is what I initially thought with the first trailer. I was like, oh, this is a story about DID and they're going to do it the Hollywood way. Got it. But it's not leading to that as of yet. As of the first 3 episodes, there's no definitive answer or clues necessarily, but I feel it in my predictability of Hollywood writing, as a writer, we're writers, we write scripts. We know how things progress. We know the patterns. I feel like the story is going to lead to something to the effect of schizophrenia or DID. That is the feeling I get based on the information I've been delivered in the first 3 episodes of the series.
Interesting. I remember always getting really annoyed at Hollywood depiction of DID because undiagnosed thought that maybe I had DID. Turns out no, I was just closeted.
Right. There's that. Yeah. So that's my thing. So, is it good enough or not? I'll be honest with you. It's a very typical crime story. Like the first 3 episodes are very like standard stock. Again, Ari and Tom Holland and Amanda Seyfried, which we see her, but she's not really like, because she's interviewing him, we don't see her a lot because she doesn't exist in the flashbacks. So as of right now, she doesn't have a lot of screen time. Tom Holland puts on a good show. Like the story is generic. It's super generic. But Ari and, Sasha Lane and Tom Holland, they're good actors and they're putting on a good show. Like you want to see what's happening with them, even though the story itself feels very generic and bland at the moment. But again, we're only 3 episodes in. Those 3 episodes are available streaming on Apple TV Plus, with the new episode coming out, the 4th episode coming out this week.
I mean, it sounds interesting. I assume you'll keep us posted as the show continues. I will do. I'll do a wrap up. Excellent.
Yes.
Excellent. Have they projected how many episodes it's going to be? Sometimes they do. Looks like 10.
Yeah, 10 episodes. Yeah. Yep.
I like how IMDb will do that. Like if the total number of episodes and like often the episode titles are like known, they'll just list you that and they'll tell you the air date so you know when to expect it. That has helped me a number of times figuring out like how much is fucking left in this show.
Yeah, right. Like how many episodes until I know the thing, right? I always want to know that. That's how it was with Silo. Just this last episode was a big episode. Not this past, not last week, but the week before was a very huge reveal episode. Ooh. And I was like, oh shit, like, are we at the end? And I had to like go back and like, I had to go and look at like how many episodes were. I was like, okay, we've got like 5 episodes left. All right, cool. Like nice. We were going to learn a lot more. And we did in the following episode. It was very good.
Excellent. I actually I can segue off of yours, much the way that you segued into it. In that there's a couple of actors in the Crowded Room who have made at least an appearance in the now vast Marvel Cinematic Universe. Obviously Tom Holland, but Sasha Lane, who plays Ariana, was in the Marvel Wastelanders Hawkeye podcast, but also was one of the hunters in Loki. So we've got people from the...
Yes, that's right. Yeah. She's the first hunter to figure out that there's like a time variance thing, that they're variants.
Yep.
Yes, I knew I recognized her.
Yeah. And the reason that segues so easily for me is I've actually been watching 2 very different superhero shows this last week. Ellen and I together have been watching Marvel's Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur, which is just absolutely adorable. Could not possibly recommend this show enough. Like whether you're just a general fan of like fun superhero stories, of animation, or if you have a family and younger kids particularly, it's just an adorable show. Incredible soundtrack. The art is beautiful. It's very comic book stylized, very like the individual scenes will look like comic panels sometimes. The writing is really good. It very much centers and tells stories for this young Black girl and her best friend who is Latina. Her best friend's parents are gay men. There's just a lot of representation and not a lot of queer and non-white representation in the story. Absolutely love that. And again, like the soundtrack alone is totally worth it. It's fun. But contrast with, I've also been binging The Boys. And let me tell you, when I say it's everything opposite of what Moon Girl is, it's brutal, man.
Yeah,
and you've seen at least some of it, right? Have you watched all of it?
I watched all of the first season and a few other episodes scattered here and there.
I think I'm like 4 episodes into season 2 now. I've come a pretty decent chunk of the way through, and I knew that it was intense, and I knew that. I mean, this is not a spoiler to say the superheroes are not the good guys in this film. But the good guys aren't necessarily either, and I like that kind of morally gray area. And I mean, Carl Urban, just magnificent in everything he does. He plays a wildly unlikable, but still like irresistible character leading this ragtag bunch of characters. And Jack Quaid, who recently was on my radar because of his role as Ensign Boimler in Star Trek Lower Decks, which I cannot wait for the crossover with Strange New Worlds literally next week. Well, I don't know if that episode's next week, but Strange New Worlds season 2 next week. So excited. But yeah, just phenomenal cast in The Boys. Finally, at the episodes where Aya Cash is present, and of course, we fell in love with her back in Scare Me, and just her incredible presence on screen, love it. But oh my god, just from the very first like 5 minutes or less of the series, the tone is set. This is graphic, gory, and intense. Does not let up. So yeah, could not be further apart from one another, and yet somehow I'm managing to balance both of them in my brain right now. It's a very weird place in here.
Dichotomy. Yeah, Dino Girl, Moon Girl and Dino are on Disney Plus.
Disney Plus, yep.
And The Boys is on AMC or Amazon Prime.
Amazon Prime, yep.
I had the wrong A. You
were so close.
I know.
But
yet,
I'm sorry.
So far.
I have to revoke your status. Bezos
Dang.
is not going to be happy with you.
Nope. Our Prime sponsorship is over with now. That's it. I ruined it.
But yeah.
Yes.
Fucking
good stuff.
Fucking weird though. Weird stuff.
Yeah.
Weird stuff.
So if you were wondering what you should watch, there's 3 examples of things you could be watching right now. There's The Crowded Room, there is Moon Girl and Dino, and of course The Boys, which season 3 just ended, I think earlier this year, right? Or is this season 4?
I think it's season 3.
I think it's season 3 that just ended, and I know that they're working on the spin-off is coming up.
Yeah,
very soon. That they've started to promote that.
And of course, if you tune in for our regular film review episode this coming Sunday, you'll catch a little bit of just a small little tie-in to this bonus episode. So that's neat. Of course, obviously, if you're listening to this, you're already subscribed, so you know.
We shouldn't have to say anything.
We shouldn't have to, but you're gonna hear about it in just a few days.
Yeah. And, for those of you that like to watch the movies before we review them on our Sunday episodes, so this Sunday we're reviewing the movie Trench 11, which is currently streaming on Tubi TV in America as of time of recording this episode. So if you're the type of person that watches the movies before we record them, that is where you can find that. And then you can play along at home while we, or wherever you are, while we review Trench 11 coming up this Sunday. And remember, we're counting down to the worst zombie movie of the month. This will be our third third submission to the bracket, and then we've got Dead Sight coming up at the end of the month. But coming up really soon, in just 2 weeks, we're going to have a special thing for you for our bonus episodes because Marvel's Secret Invasion is coming out, and we're going to be pairing up with the Super Pod HeroCast guys to talk about it episode per episode, just like we did with She-Hulk. But this time, bonus episodes are going to be dropped on Monday, so we're a little closer to release date, so we're not a full week behind the episodes, so we're not talking about episode 1 while episode 2 has already aired. We're going to be a little closer to the release dates. That way we can, make sure you guys are staying up to date. So that'll begin the Monday after the premiere. So June 21st is when it premieres. So the Monday after that is when our very first episode on Secret Invasion will begin. And you guys can follow along at home.
Yeah. So, of course, all of you who are obviously already subscribed, make sure you tell your friends so that they can subscribe so that they don't miss it. Because they will. If they're not subscribed, they'll miss it.
Because they won't know it. They'll be waiting for Thursday and going to look us up, and we won't be there because we'll have been there on Monday.
Thought you knew, baby.
But we pulling a fast one on you. All right, there it is, everyone. Thanks a lot for joining us, and we will see you on Sunday.